Hey there, Wendy here with Jazzydoodledesigns, and I thought this month, since I didn't have a lot of color pages to show you, that we would flip through the work I've done in the Disney Dreams Collection Thomas Kinkade Studios coloring book. I really enjoy working in this book, and I work like on my couch at night, so let's flip through and see how it goes. So the first one I did, let me get just centered, is this one I use Black Widow pencils. And I just adore working in this book. I like that it's done all the heavy lifting, telling me what colors to choose, and the challenge for me is figuring out how to replicate that. Okay, before we go too far into this book, I've had people in the past ask me about these. Now these are reusable or repositionable transparent little stickers, and they work the same on both sides. Let's see where this one is. What's really nice is it really doesn't pull up any of the color. It doesn't leave a sticky residue, and I can reposition these and I can keep my books marked for when I did them so that it's easier for me to show you like a year-end review or something like this where I'm going over quite a few, and you can always just remove them. But I don't feel anything here on the page, and you can see there's nothing stuck there. So I really like these to keep track of what pencils I used or when I completed the page. Now on this one I used Avazar London pencils. I do add Posca pen to almost all of my pages, just for that little pop of white usually, but sometimes other Posca paints as well. Here I've used Inktense and Dick Blick pencils, and I thought it turned out really well. There's a little crinkling you can see, but nothing I can't live with. So the key is using very minimal water or using alcohol, colorless blender. That's my trick for in this book. Here I used a brand called Cezanne, which is Jerry Artarama's store brand, much like Hobby Lobby is Artist Touch or something. So that's their store brand. But I think they work wonderfully in this book. Here I used the Inktense pencils again as my base layer, and then went over it with Prismas, and then I added a little bit of stickles. Here's another one I did with Cezanne pencils. Now in this one I used Neocolor 2s, and then I went over it with Prismas. Now in some areas, like up here in the sky, this is only the Neocolor 2s. I just didn't feel like it needed anything more. Then I used the white Posca pen for the pops of highlight and the genie smoke here. Here I used Dick Blick pencils. And I chose on this one not to blend out all the white, the tooth of the paper showing through. I just felt like it added a little to the texture. I do feel like, I probably could have blended that out and spent a little more time using color to make that texture. But, it is what it is. So that, I kind of work front to back, but sometimes I'm just not in the mood for the next page. So this one I use Color pencils. Here I used Arctic pencils. As you can see, this is a place where I go when I first get pencils to try them out and just see how they do. The other thing that I'll do in this book is I do spray all the pages with a workable fixative before I start. I liked it so much that I actually sprayed the entire book so it's ready to go. Now this one is Root Funer Squares. Those pencils are actually really fun. They're a very vibrant pencil, I think. But the reason I spray the workable fixative is it adds a little bit of tooth to the page. So here I worked with my luminance pencils, and I gotta say, luminance pencils, especially, I don't know if it's just this particular book, I actually really enjoy using luminance pencils. So if you can get your hands on some, I got a really good deal on Macari, and so I got them very reasonably. So I'm excited about that. Here I use Sioux color pencils. This is probably my least favorite of all the pages in this book. I like using Sioux color pencils. I hadn't had any problems in the past. I don't like how this page turned out, and I'm not sure if it was the pencils. I can tell that this was one that wasn't sprayed. That was prior to my figuring out the workable fixative spray solution. So I don't know. I may try and go in and do more work on this page. I may just call it a wrap. You don't always like every page you do. This I did with polychromos colored pencils, and there actually is a full tutorial on the color along on the channel of me doing this page. So you can kind of see my process in these books. I think I have one more. So the last one I did, this was done with ChromaFlow pencils. I was very unhappy with the black in this page. I felt like none of the dark values in the horse's tail, in the trees, really came through the way I wanted it to. And once again, this is prior to the workable fixative. So I don't know if I went in and sprayed with workable fixative and went over it. Maybe I could deepen those values. But I enjoy working in this book, and I appreciate you following along with me. If you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing. Love to see you on the channel. Until then, next one, happy coloring. Thank you for watching another video from Jazzydoodledesigns. If you enjoy adult coloring content, please consider subscribing. You can now find me on Instagram and Facebook as well. I welcome all comments and suggestions. Don't forget to like the video before you go. And until next time, take care.